do it.
All right. Welcome to Relay Radio. I'm your host, Derek Dreyer. To my right is co-host Daniel Hong.
Daniel Hong.
We will be lighting the torch of knowledge to bring you exhilarating insights, expert tips, and inspiring stories.
Immerse yourself in the world of business, entrepreneurship, and life as we pass the baton of knowledge, empowering you to sprint towards greatness. Our guest today has a strong passion for fitness, health, wellness, and has built a community of individuals who are dedicated to living their best and healthiest lives. And she's super fashionable. Through her message of self-love, body positivity, and her authentic approach to sharing her own journey, she has made herself a standout figure in the fitness community. Former collegiate athlete, founder of AuthenFit, sneaker enthusiast, she is Kayla Lojas.
What up?
Yo. Thanks for coming.
I love that. Wow, this is
Lojas,
so professional.
is that like is that Hispanic or
No, it's actually Lojas, but
Lojas?
yeah, everyone always gets it
What?
wrong. Yeah, it's
Well, we're
I
in
was
Texas.
gonna say
so-
Lojas.
Well, you're in Texas, so
Oh, damn.
I think that's like our natural.
I'm Polish and Irish, so
Oh, what?
pronounce the J.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
everyone always asks me that.
Okay. Cool. So our podcast, it's a little bit different. We try to be a little bit structured. So going along with the whole relay theme, relay radio, the podcast is actually structured like a relay race. So we're going to start with a warm up.
Okay.
The warm up will be a little bit small trivia. We have a leaderboard going on.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be our second. Right now, the leaderboard, it's actually Leo.
Yeah.
Love
He's
that.
He's got 2 correct answers. So we'll fire those off. After that, we'll go into the first leg of the race, which will be we'll dive into like your personal life, let people get to know who you are. Then we'll talk about the second leg, which will be social media. Then we'll go into business, and then we'll wrap it up with some insights, advice for anybody, and then we'll cross the finish line.
Hell yeah, I love that.
So yeah, let's get it going. Are you ready? Ready for the warm up?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, so you have 30 seconds. It's a 200-meter sprint, 30 seconds to answer all these trivia questions, basically as fast as you can.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So Austin's going to give me the green light, and then we are going to go. All right, what president is on the dime?
Oh God. Are you serious? I hate history. Can I skip it?
Yeah, okay. What month has 28 days?
February.
How many panels are on a soccer ball?
Oh my God.
This one's you.
I know. I feel like I should know this.
Skip.
Skip.
What year did the Jordan 1 first release?
Oh my goodness. I should know all of these. This is so bad.
What does BMW stand for? Largest ocean. What is the king of all sports?
Who or what?
What is?
What sport is the king of sports?
Most recognized worldwide.
Soccer, football.
Okay. All right,
Oh, she got that one.
you got one.
That literally,
Largest
oh
ocean.
my gosh.
You want to go back to any of them?
No.
We out of time? We're out of time.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Dude, what?
Do you want the answers?
What president is on the dime?
Roosevelt.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
I never would have. Yeah.
Come on. All the months have 28 days, by the way.
Oh, I was going to say 1985. I should have just said it.
Bro, we don't hold dimes over here. We only got hundos.
Yeah, I would never.
Yeah. We only got the blues.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so I actually just met you like
Last week.
probably like 2 weeks ago.
Not
right?
too long ago.
Actually, no. I met you. First time I met you was when we were at Summer Shredding in Tampa. So
Yeah.
that was our official meeting. Daniel's known
Nice.
you a little bit longer, so
Yeah.
But I do want to take this time to maybe get to know you on a little bit deeper level. Daniel as well. So
I'm just here.
So tell us who Kayla is. Who is Kayla Lojas?
I always tell people this. Your name is not your identity.
Okay.
That's just your name. You weren't chosen. You didn't choose that. So what is like your identity?
Who do I identify as?
Yeah.
I guess, the intro is really good. It kind of hit all the different points, especially from fitness, lifestyle, health. I think motivational. That's a deep inside of me. Like I always say, if I were to lose all my limbs tomorrow, I think I would just be a motivational speaker. That's something I really, really find like deep inside of me. I'm always just inspiring. That's like what I love to do. I may not take my own advice, but I can give great advice. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm an aunt. That obviously makes me into who I am today as well, having those people around me and believe in me. But yeah, I don't know. Fitness is like my huge thing right now, but that motivational aspect is something that's really shining through, and I want to be known as more and be remembered as more as well.
Cool.
Awesome.
So you did have a background in sports. Dive a little bit deeper on that. How long did you play sports? When did you first start playing sports?
Yeah, I played soccer a majority of my life. That was like my first sport I ever played. And then my dad just didn't sign me up like one year. And so I just stopped playing soccer, even though that was like my true calling, I feel like. And then I started playing basketball. Like I just always loved playing basketball. I grew up with older brothers. And so I was just always a tomboy surrounded by sports in any way, shape, or possible form. And from there, I didn't like my coach at all. Like we had a big falling out, and then I was just used and made an example of, basically.
Damn.
And
And this is high school.
this is high school. Yeah, I was very stubborn,
Harsh, man.
very,
Yeah, I mean,
very harsh.
I think I said this on our other, our podcast we did with Austin, but like coaches will make or break the sport for you, right? Like you have coaches that guide you and lead you, and then you have coaches that literally just are there to fucking rip on you.
100%.
I had a coach like that too, and it made me like not want to try. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I guess some athletes respond well to that type of coaching, and then some don't.
Yeah, I feel like that was just an issue in its own, and then it led me back to soccer, and it was just like our coach was looking. I was a brand new high school, so I was the first 4 years at my high school. And the soccer coach was like, we need a goalie. We need a goalie. Never played goalie before. I happen to have a good vertical, and I'm just wild. So he's like, you would be great. And I was like, sure, why not? And then that ended up taking me into college, and I played in college as well. And my high school coach, we butt heads a ton, but he was I think we butt heads so much because he was literally like my dad. He was so much like my dad, it was ridiculous. But that helped mold me into who I am today. So I'm very, very like grateful for that.
That's crazy. That I have like a similar. That's how I started playing soccer in high school too. All my friends.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes. No, my high school, my friends they all played soccer, and they're like, yeah, we need a goalie. Our goalie is trash. Like you're tall, like you're athletic. So I went and tried out. Never played soccer in my life. Just tried out, made varsity, and I was like the varsity goalie. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Couldn't kick a ball, but yeah, I loved just diving everywhere. It was so fun to me. And then like coming out of the box, I would literally just sprint full speed and just slide tackle the fuck out of people.
Yeah,
And
it was the best thing ever.
I loved it. It was
you were
so
able
fun.
to do that. Like you just had the freedom to hit people. That sounds
Yeah,
horrible.
it was fun. I mean, I definitely made some pretty bad mistakes, but we're not going to talk about that. So after high school, you went to college. Like, were you recruited? Did you walk on? Like, how did that process go for you?
Yeah, so I was recruited into a smaller D3 school, Millikan University. It's outside in Decatur in Illinois. No one really knows where that is.
Yeah, no.
But it's like the soy town of Illinois, and those that live there or have been through it would understand. It just smells like soy. Like you don't understand
Sounds
it until
like
you get
sounds
there.
like Daniel's kind of place.
Soy. Oh, how does soy smell like?
It's just
You tell me.
takes
Like tofu?
over. I don't even know. I've never like just smelled tofu. I don't
How
know.
does soy like describe the smell?
I don't know. It's
I
just
don't know. Soy.
it's
Bro, you
just
got a
like-
warehouse full of fucking soy. Your parents got you grew up with a warehouse full of soy, and you're acting like you don't know what soy smells like.
It's just very overpowering, like very. So like
Yeah.
whenever the factories are like going, it is just you walk outside and you just smell like it. Like it's overpowering. That's what they call that town. But yeah, so I ended up getting recruited, playing in college. I started as goalie, and then I actually tore my UCL in my thumb, and I had to have surgery on my hand after my freshman year. And then going into my sophomore year, I was just thrown on the field in midfield, and then ended up playing outside back, and that stuck, and that just became my thing. I loved it. I had the formation we played. I had the opportunity of just doing full field sprints, unfortunately, but that gave me the advantage of being able to have a defensive mind, especially from a goalie, but be able to get up in the mix, play corners, like all of that. So I loved having that balance of both, because as a keeper, you're always like, I want to be able to play. I want to be able to score a goal. Like I got those opportunities. And so it was really cool kind of how it played out.
Not me. Like I didn't even know how to I didn't have no footwork. if I was a liability.
Hey, that's all right.
Still are.
So did you just naturally, so playing, I guess when you were younger, did that assist with that? Like, because you can't just jump on the field and play.
Yeah,
like, you have
no.
to have the footwork, you have to have the finesse and be able to, touch and pass and things like that. So is that just
I feel like I was always athletic and just always playing sports and just, again, being surrounded by brothers. Like, I skateboarded a majority of my childhood. I still can. Like, I have a skateboard in my garage. I can just do a kickflip right now. Like, I have touched like every sport, I feel like. And so that gave me the advantage immediately to do that. And I just was always confident in myself. And I had a like swagger almost that looked intimidating. So someone just looks at me and thinks, oh, she knows what she's doing. Even though I may not know what I'm doing, I have that aura about me in sports. And so that I feel like just gave off this confidence that then made me almost good at what I was doing because I was just consistent with it. So
And discipline for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like you're super.
No, I mean,
disciplined.
yeah, sports. I mean, it sounds like you are a lot like me, right? Sports was a huge part of your life and who you are. When you graduated college, and you didn't have sports anymore, did you feel like you lost yourself a little bit, like lost your identity?
yeah, that was the hardest thing ever. I gained a lot of weight because there's no one telling you to run. There's no season coming. There's nothing. It's just like a cool, like, hope you find a job and good luck. Right. And so I completely lost my identity, and that's what helped formed me like into what I am today. And just talking about that in the beginning stages really helped a lot of people because there's so many people who just, you're not prepared for it. No one at all prepares you for it. They teach you maybe how to do your taxes, right? But no one teaches you how to act when you lose this part of yourself. And so revamping myself, I went through a really hard breakup in that time. I lost people in my life and I was moving all over the place. And so it was just a big question mark of who am I? What do I want to be? And how do I get there? And that actually led me into being like before I was Kayla Fit, I was Kayla Sneaks. If you dive really deep into my YouTube,
I remember you telling about.
I reviewed shoes, and that was like, okay, I think I could do this. I was always fascinated with social media and what people were doing on it, but I never was acting on it. And so, leading into that, I was doing interviews on like with shoes and just trying to be at drops. I lived like outside of Miami at the time, and
What was your first pair of shoes that you reviewed?
I feel like it was a pair of Yeezys, and
350s?
I spent like a ridiculous amount on it.
Which one though? Which
They
pair?
were just like the all white, like
the creams.
yeah,
Cream V1s.
yeah, the original ones.
So is that
I still have them.
So is that the shoe that got you like hooked into like sneaker culture?
I feel like Jordan 1 was just like the first ever. I've always was fascinated with shoes too. Like playing basketball, I was like, I had so many different LeBrons and whatever. I wish I kept them. It'd be worth so much money right now.
Yeah.
But I had like a pair of Dwayne Wade's. Like I loved him. Like I had some like Tracy, what's his name?
T-Mac.
McGrady's.
Yeah, I had a pair of T-Macs.
Me too.
Like
white and pink
and then, like the
ones.
stripes that came
Yeah.
across.
Yes, like I loved
I had the all white
growing
one
up.
with the blue.
Dude, those were
Yes.
fire, bro.
They were
Middle
right?
school, middle days for me.
It was the T-Macs and then the Iversons.
Yes,
Those
yep.
were like the hot ones. And
Yeah.
Yes.
middle school for me,
That was when like Dadas were huge. It was the shoes with the spinners.
Oh my gosh! And like, even,
Dada,
like
you just like unlocked a memory.
I
and one was
one in
huge.
Fat
They had, like,
Farms.
huge
Oh my
retail
Have you
stores.
watched? We're gonna go on a tangent, but did you watch the N1
Oh
documentary?
yeah,
On?
oh yeah.
It was
I haven't
so
seen
good.
it.
It was so good.
Wait, where's it on?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
What is it called?
I don't know. Just
Just
type in
type in
N1.
N1.
Yeah.
One. Damn.
It's really. I love documentaries.
Dude,
I
the
love
dude designing the sneakers was.
Yeah.
It's like that because I just watched Air and I was like, dude, that made me like love Jordan ones.
Oh
even
my
more,
gosh,
'cause
I was
the
so
story.
inspired. I was like,
So
I could
dope.
create anything in the world right now after watching that movie.
So
So
freaking dope.
I was actually telling Daniel, like when you're watching that movie, if you think about it from like the perspective of social media and everything now, if you think about it, Jordan was actually probably the very first influencer.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely
And the first one to like take a stake and reap the rewards of actually pushing sales to a product.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting, which that can actually transition us to the next leg of the relay race, which is social media. What sparked your interest in social media, and like what led to that? Is that from the sneaker culture and the things that you were doing?
Yeah, I feel like it stemmed from that. So I worked in like retail at Finish Line, And that was like a big job for me, especially in college. And being in that environment and connecting with my managers and them showing me these other sneaker guys on YouTube and Instagram, I was like, what? Like, these guys just get free shoes? Like, are you sure? Like, that's how they get it? They get paid for this? And I just was so fascinated with the idea of that. And I started posting like sneaker pictures and like trying to learn more into that. And I started making YouTube videos in college, not about sneakers, but about like, I started a club at my college called Love Your Melon. It was for like cancer, kids with cancer and stuff like that. But that I started documenting that and making videos about that, learning how to edit. And like, I just was so inspired that you can make a life out of this. I just didn't know how to do it. And I felt weird doing it because no one in college was doing that at all. Right?
How many years ago was this?
I graduated college in 2017.
Okay.
So math.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can do the math, but
So 6 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's him.
yeah. I'm like, I'm not a math person, but
So like 2017, 2016 era. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
social media was pretty. It
was on the come up.
Yeah. Because Instagram started in what, 2013?
I
Yeah, it
think
was like
20
2012.
Yeah. So
then, like,
2013.
Instagram was just started. It was still a picture app.
yeah. Where you just swiped and put a cool, like
Yeah,
vintage
yeah.
filter. And
That's
you're
when
like,
we
sick.
started.
You're just like thinking about. You're
Yeah.
thinking so hard about what picture you're gonna post. I'm
Yeah, like
wanted it to be so good.
take a picture of
You
your
can use
meal.
like a
And then you're
million,
using the filters that
50
they provided.
hashtags.
Yeah. Yes.
50 hashtag limit.
100%.
Yeah.
You still do the hashtags. What are you talking about?
I still do. I do like 5 now.
Five right now is
Yeah.
the hotspot.
That's
Yeah,
the-
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So did you start? Did you start with Instagram or you started with YouTube?
Instagram. So I've had my YouTube account since I feel like it was 2015, 2016, I think. But Instagram was like my push of like what I thought, okay, me sharing sneakers and like working in a sneaker shop, like this is going to be my thing. And then that's why post college, I started doing sneaker YouTube because I was like, okay, I live outside of Miami. There's Kith. There's all these shops that do limited drops. Like I can make a living out of this. And yeah, that just kind of led to a stop. And then that's when fitness started.
Yeah.
Okay. So what led to that halt and kind of transition into fitness?
Yeah, I feel like the people I was surrounded by more than anything. So working in Finish Line and working around those people, that was what inspired me. That's what kind of kept me in the loop with a lot of different things. And once that ended, I started working with my father. And then I had, I went through a ton of stuff after college that led me to, I failed my boards and I didn't get my certification fully done to be able to practice as an athletic trainer. So it was like, okay, what do I have right now? And I had a personal training degree that are like certification that I got in school while I was studying. And I was like, okay, well, let me just call a local gym. Let me see if I can get started in that. And sure enough, the manager actually went to the same college as me. So I ended up getting hired there, working as a personal trainer. And then that's when I was opened up into, there's a fitness side of this social media.
Yeah.
And that's when I was introduced to people like Max, Christian, and saw this whole different world. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to do this. Like I want to do social media and I wanted to figure out with sneakers, but now I'm going to transition into that. And I still shared lifestyle and fits and stuff like that and kind of intermixed it like I do now. But that's what really led into me creating this following and family within social media.
I want to backtrack just a bit. You said that you got a job with your father. Does he own a business?
Yeah, so he owns his own painting and decorating business. He has for, since I can remember. Like honestly, I feel like since I was born, he's been doing this.
Is this a good job? This painting?
Trash. I could probably redo it. I'm just kidding. No, but
well,
I'm kidding. I'm
Who to
kidding.
call?
I'm kidding. But yeah, I have that background in that, so I know how to use tools. I know how to do stuff like that because he's taught me all of that, and even just the hardworking side of things, as well as how to be likable and how to have a conversation with anybody, how to have the best business, how to be the best person you could be. I learned all of that from him and the value of $1. He would never give me money ever. I had to clean the paintbrushes. I had to it was never just here's $5, go to the gas station.
Yeah.
No. So
Taught you everything. That's cool.
everything. Yeah.
Similar to Daniel, coming up with his parents and learning how to just grind essentially.
Oh yeah.
How do you felt like that background has helped you in social media? Have you applied any of those practices or that type of or what you've learned from that essentially?
Yeah, I feel like just being a human, but also being generous and just showing up, and when you say things, doing them, following through with them. And I think that's helped me to show others to do that thing as well. Because if I didn't have my father growing up and showing me these things, I don't think I would be anywhere near where I'm at right now at all in any way, shape, or form. And me being able to just share that with other people and show them that and the hard work, I think that has translated a ton, just with people being able to connect or get that guidance through me that maybe I wouldn't have had if I didn't have my dad. Or even growing up through and doing, or like bodybuilding, there wasn't a lot of female doing that was sharing their journey, and I didn't have people to look up to. So trying to be that for other people really helped to just build that community.
Awesome.
So with like the whole fitness side, right? I think I kind of recall you coming into the Alphalete world, which is like, you know, one of the biggest brands that we know of on the fitness side of social media. How did you come across them? Like, how did that whole thing happen? Because you competed in summer shredding, and yeah, give us that gist of it.
Yeah, so when I first started working in the gym, that's when I was like very much opened into that. When I met Dan, he introduced me to all of that. I had no clue about what any of this world was. I only thought just sneakers, right? And so that once I saw Christian and Max and all that, I was like, whoa, like there's a brand and there's athletes and they get to wear this and be sponsored and like free clothes. Like what? Like this is a dream. How do you achieve that? Because I couldn't afford these things. I would still spend all the money I made to have it and to tag it and to show that I'm, you know, wearing that to my followers, to be affiliated with it. But I definitely didn't have the money to be doing what I was doing at the time, trying to be affiliated with the brand. And so that led me to that dream of like, okay, how can I achieve this? You know, same with Ghost Lifestyle as well, is you purchase the product, you share the product, you show your love for it, and eventually you can hopefully get to these top places where you're working with these brands. And that's exactly what I did. And then with summer shredding, my first year in summer shredding was 2020, and I actually lost. And then in 2021, I came back and I won. And I'm happy I lost in 2020 because I was not supposed to take in these sponsorships at that point. I don't think I was ready for it. I don't think my community was ready for it. And the hardship is what really built that next level of my community to show how human I was going through binge eating and stuff post-show. That then led me into that 2021 win where, you know, Christian was already aware of who I was, and that landed me the sponsorship. And I was able to keep that because my community saw me wearing that brand since the beginning.
Yeah, that's really
What
cool.
class did you compete in?
Figure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So it seems like the whole like sports aspect of the no participation thing kind of triggered your version of like, okay, you know, I fell down once, I'm going to continue to get back up and I'm going to, you know, kick ass. And obviously it rewards you because you won overall. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so you've been a part of Alpha Lead since 2021, essentially as a sponsored athlete. And then how about Ghost? Because Ghost is, you know, probably in the social media aspect, like the cream of the crop for fitness.
Yeah, you mentioned meeting Dan. So for those who are listening who don't know, Dan is one of the owners of Ghost.
No, Dan, as in her boyfriend.
Yeah. With
Okay.
different
So there's-
Dans.
Okay, I got confused.
There's so many
Okay,
Dans.
so,
It's
a
ridiculous.
lot of
so you didn't meet the Ghost Dan. That was okay. You were talking about your boyfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you meet
With
the Ghost
Ghost
people or get into
So
the Ghost?
that's actually one of the coolest stories, in my opinion. So I didn't become a sponsored athlete with them until the end of 2020, which was, I think, October or November of 2020. But prior to that, I actually was so they used to do this thing where you're like legend of the week, where if you tag Ghost and you put hashtag be seen, like you can become legend of the week and they repost you. And so I was that. And the next day, I'm going into work at Bolingbrook Export for personal training, and there's like a Ghost table being set up at the GNC next door. And I'm like, well, that's crazy. I was just legend of the week. So I walk over and I'm like, hey, like I was legend of the week.
Was it CJ?
And it was CJ.
A humble brag.
Yeah. And that was in like 2018, 2019, I think.
Right.
And or something like that. And so that led that relationship. And, you know, he gave me his number. We connected. I ended up going to the club with them, like, I think later that weekend. It was a really bad, like, first, like, time. I was just like, it was different Ghost era where it was party, like, insanely.
Hard as fuck, yeah.
Like, you're either in the inner circle or you're not, right?
Yeah.
And so I got that bad vibe in the beginning, and I just, like, dipped from the club. Like, I just left. And I just was like, okay, you know, it is what it is. We'll see what comes out of it. And I think like 6 or 8 months later, he hit me up and he was like, hey, we're doing this thing called the Takeover Team. you have presented the brand well. We think you'd be a great fit. You're just brand awareness. You go into GNCs, you go into gyms, you share samples, whatever, and you get free products. I was like, sick. Of course, I want to do that. I ended up doing that. And then I asked him, and on that call, I was like, how do I become an athlete? Like, what does that look like? Like, what are some goals you can set for me that I can achieve to like prove that I'm athlete worthy? And within 8 months, again, I hit all of those goals. I showed all of that. And then they offered me an athlete sponsorship. And I was offered at like the lowest possible tier you could possibly think of. And I tell them all the time, I was like, you guys didn't believe in me. Like, you did not believe in me. You had no clue what I was about to do. Within 3 months, they were like, who is this girl? Like, how? Like, how is she outperforming in the way that she is? This makes no sense. And it was like, yeah, I told you so. Like, you know,
I love
like
that. Yeah.
I've been sharing this brand since the beginning. Of course, my community is it's gonna transfer. You know.
Badass.
So yeah, that's the craziest story. Full circle.
Yeah.
It's honestly been really, really amazing to see Ghost, the growth that they've had over the past. I guess I don't remember when they started.
2016.
But I remember
private gym.
I remember when Dan came into our warehouse to meet with Christian to tell him about the idea of Ghost.
Yeah.
Like, he came in with these little baggies of pre-workout and was like telling us, "Oh, I want to
Cereal
do this.
milk.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, I want to do this. We're gonna do this, this, and this with this, and like these are my ideas." And you know, it's been really cool to see him bring his vision to life.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, and then people like you now representing the brand. It's really cool.
It's crazy to see how big they are. Like, they're becoming a household name. They're in every store. It's like Ghost Energy obviously took head of all of that, but it's just wild to me. Like,
And
you
it's
see
just
Ghost
it's
Energy
amazing marketing
everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing marketing just from the label, the detail on the
Yes.
label, and it just stands out on the shelf and things like that. So
It's crazy.
You know what's funny is when Ghost first launched, it was just Christian and Max, and they had 2 flavors of the BCA, which is the Blue Raz and the Fruit Punch, and they're selling for $42.
Something like that.
Everyone said that they would never last. Like, everyone was like, this company is not going to be, it's bull crap. It's too expensive. Like, now look at them. It is really wild to see, like,
overpriced for like the ingredients. I
Yeah.
remember hearing all that.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, because the Blue Raz wasn't like soluble. Like, it was like foamy at the top, and then they mastered. But then the taste was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah,
the
right off
Blue
the bat,
Raz,
yeah.
right off the bat. And it is really cool to see everything they built. So social media looks like it's been a part of your life for more than 5 years. It seems like it's been before the 2018 of going to Ghost. You've built your community. What is like? So you obviously took a lot of liking to social media, but what is the one thing you would say you dislike about social media? You're a seasoned. We would say you're a seasoned veteran in your own life.
Oof. Someone asked me this question yesterday. I feel like
Be honest.
it's just the fakeness. I can't stand it. Like, the fact that people message me and say, "Wow, like, you're so real." I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah, that already tells you a lot.
why?
Yeah.
Like, why would you honor me for being
You're so
myself?
genuine.
Yeah,
You're
it's
so
like
genuine.
It's like, what was I
my
supposed to be? Like, rude? Like, I don't understand. And so that, and just the constant filters with faces, and it's like people can't even look at themselves anymore without altering their image. And that is what drives me crazy, because it shouldn't be like that. We should love ourselves for how we are. And sure, we're going through journeys and it's going to be hard, but at the end of the day, like, if you're not happy with yourself in the journey, how are you supposed to be happy with yourself when you achieve this said goal? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's
100%.
it's so fake, and I can't stand it. And I think social media is starting to go in a direction of where it's not as fake, which is awesome. It's a little bit more real, and it's just taking a picture and posting it, but there's still this super fake side to it that people look up to and think that they have to be perfect. And it's like, no, like, newsflash, none of us are perfect at all.
Yeah. It's like with business too. Like, no matter how big a company is, they're always finding what works or finding the next thing that works. We're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, my wife works for I was talking to her last night. She works for like a multi-billion-dollar medical sales company. And I was like, what is one thing you don't like about this company? Because I was like, do you like your job? She was like, yeah, I love it. But she was like, there's no structure. Like, everyone is just for themselves. They're like trying to one up the next person, and everyone's just figuring it out, whether it's like my boss or my boss's boss.
Yeah.
And so, like, that goes into the whole thing of what you see on social media or what you hear about a company. Oh, there's a multi-billion-dollar company. They know what they're doing. I mean, even Elon Musk,
Yeah.
you know, like he bought Twitter, still going through so many changes. And now like what it was like $42 billion. And now the company's worth like less than $1 billion. So it is crazy to see like, no matter how good someone is at something, they're still always navigating through the waters. Like, of course it's for the long run, right? Like you make a lot of mistakes along your way, but ultimately what happens is everything that you've done led you down to that specific path, you know? So yeah, I guess the third leg, what we really want to know about and what makes Relay's podcast so great is the business aspect. So it seems like your sports mindset, you say that when you graduated college, you didn't have any structure because you didn't have someone telling you what to do. But it seems like you've built that.
Yeah.
It seems like your sports mindset and you've become your own coach. So talk to us a lot about the business aspect, right? So at what part in your fitness journey did you want to start helping other people? Because that correlates to the business aspect, right? So it seems like you've built a lot of different organizations, which built your core belief from people. So talk to us about that aspect.
Yeah, I feel like just with the fitness side of things, it really all in the beginning stemmed from me being lost after college and having that identity crisis. And I realized that I was getting so much good feedback from people of like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with the same thing. Like, how did you go through this? And I was like, okay, well, there's clearly a need for this because I didn't have it. And now other people are telling me that I'm helping them through that.
Yeah.
And that led me more into like, okay, how can I then be this figure and be this person that helps in this aspect, not just from social media, but from, you know, a business side? How can I turn this into making money, right? I have to be able to sustain myself. I don't want to be working in the gym forever. You don't make a lot of money, but it's really good building blocks for someone who wants to build a coaching business or whatever. And I think that just led me into that. And TikTok in 2020 was a different type of TikTok, and people blew up overnight. And I happened to be one of those people. And that's where AuthentFit took this crazy turn. And to be honest, AuthentFit was actually built a year to a year and a half before that. And it was built off of a previous company that I was brought down to Atlanta, Georgia to work for. And I was basically like the face of the company, but I was also building the entire company, and it was a mobile fitness brand. So I would get in a car full of equipment. I would drive to your house and I would train you, and I would drive all over the city of Atlanta. I'm talking everywhere.
How old were you?
That was a year and a half out of college, I think.
Like 23.
And this was pre-COVID?
This is before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is like end of 2018, I think, is when I started in that job, going into 2019. Yeah, and so it was at some point I hit a marker where it's like I cannot do anymore. I cannot drive any more hours. I cannot service as many more people. Like it just cannot be done. Like I've hit my max. And it was like, okay, well then hire people. And I'm like, so you want me to do all this and then hire people? Like what do you mean?
Yeah.
And so it just got to a point where it was like, this is not making sense. And luckily I was very smart and I never signed an NDA. I didn't sign anything. I just slipped it into my desk. No one asked for it. So when it was coming to shutting everything down, they made me an offer and it was just like laughing in my face. And I was like, no. Good thing none of this was my money that I spent. It was just investors. And I made everybody get refunded. This clientele that I built up, I worked with the Atlanta Braves wives. Like I was in their house working with them, like worked with artists. Like I built a big profile in Atlanta.
Wow.
And so I had everybody get refunded from that business. And then as soon as that closed, I opened AuthentFit, and then all that money just came flushed right back into AuthentFit.
Nice.
So
Damn, smart.
yeah. So that's how AuthentFit actually started, was in-home training.
Yeah.
And then it led into online training. And so within that year, it just, once the winter months hit, everything slowed down. And it was like, okay, I guess this dream was a dream. It's not meant to happen. And I ended up working back in a gym again. And then once TikTok blew up in 2020, immediately within like overnight success, I had over 200 applications. And I quit everything that day. Like everything that day, as soon as that money started coming in, I was like, okay, this is what it is again. I'm going to go full force into this. And then, yeah, that took over everything. And it's just crazy to see how that formed.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is like a lot of people during COVID, also told me like start TikTok, and that was when it was like really just transitioning from the whole like lip syncing thing, and I was like, not lip syncing, the dancing thing. I was like stubborn, so I stayed on IG, and that's like where the transition happens. Like I remember I was like showing workouts with cases of water and buckets of water when I should have posted that on TikTok.
Yep.
Because I wonder where that would have gone.
It would have been different.
I mean, it went for my following, it went viral on my Instagram, like thousands of saves, and I should have monopolized that, or not monopolized that, but leveraged that like you did. But I feel like your mindset is so much more evolved, like compared to a lot of people that we've known in the fitness industry, like the whole aspect of this coaching stuff and scaling it and knowing, okay, not to be complacent. And so like with your coaching business right now, like, do you have other coaches? Is it just you? Like, how are you running it right now?
Yeah, so there's 4 of us. So me and Dan are head coaches. Dan, basically, at this point, I'm more the face of the brand.
Nice.
Dan does all of the educational side of stuff, which is very well because I'm good at being the face and marketing. He's great at being the educational side. And then we have 2 other coaches, a female and then another male. So it's just a matter of them building themselves up, but being able to have a recognizable name that helps push them as well.
Yeah, your branding. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've always hired internally. So if you've worked with AuthentFit, then we would be able to hire from internal, but I don't.
Nice.
That's just kind of where we're at with it. I don't see me doing that long term. I think it's just still kind of like hey, this is what's working right now. Let's just keep running it. But that's not like my true passion.
Love that. Love that.
So this could be kind of a question for both of you, since both of you kind of like built up your social media following and then, had developed coaching businesses. How did y'all really set yourself apart from other coaches? Because I feel like really big in the fitness industry right now, people develop their followings, and then as soon as they get a following, bam, I can be a coach. I can coach anybody. So how did you combat that? Like, how do you really stand apart and feel like you're more qualified than the next person to be a coach and help these people?
I feel like it's not a matter of you being more qualified, right? I think it's a matter of like, can people relate to you? And when they look at you, can they see themselves, do they want to achieve what you've achieved, or can they see themselves like just relating to you? Like if they can do that, I feel like it's so much easier for somebody to listen to you, because if not, and it's some Joe Schmo giving advice, how hard is that to follow, right? Versus you being inspired by Daniel, by me, like that's so much easier to follow up on and do what you need to do to achieve those goals, because you've seen this person do it, you've been inspired by them. So I think
it's more using your life experiences to connect with these people.
That's what I think.
Yeah, cool. For me, it was I didn't really have like a way to tell people that I was different. I think I just showed it just because like I was the only Asian in the fitness community at the time. So like when we started like with the Alpha Elite OG days, like there wasn't that many filmers or like fitness vloggers yet, right? So like all I did was kind of like consecutively show that I'm Asian. And it was like you're saying, the relatability factor is huge. So unknowingly you're kind of like attracting already in a different crowd. So I also like told people like, hey, I'm not gonna be the best, but I've done 4 shows up to this. I've done all of these types of things. Like it's not just like my physique, it's like that type of stuff. So I think the Kayla's thing is huge. Like the relatability factor is like so important, because people want what you have. So like, is it relatable, or is it just this like facade where it's like so far out of reach and they want to become this like celebrity status or whatever,
So do you not think, because you have a degree in nutrition and then you have a degree in sports medicine, do you feel like anybody can just do it even if you don't have that degree in nutrition? Like I feel like there has to be some level. You guys have to have a level of knowledge though. Like
most definitely.
You do
but
understand nutrition and
like
things
you
like that.
can read a textbook, but at the end of the day, if you can't apply it and you can't, it's like having clinical hours. They're so crucial, right? Because that's how you actually learn. It's the same thing. So if someone reads a book, cool. But if they're in the gym, and like I said, that's why starting as a personal trainer in an actual gym, I built a foundation. Like without that, I would not be where I'm at today. And so it's like having those grunt hours that just suck, and those payments that just suck. But that's what builds you. So experience is everything.
Yeah, I worked at 2 gyms also. I worked at LA Fitness as a sales manager, and then I worked at the Houstonian Club. So it's like, man, I was, same thing, like going through the trenches. And when you're going to school, like college and stuff, and all these money bought papers, right? Like a certification, like an NASM or whatever, like you're learning the curriculum that hasn't been changed for more than 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
So like they don't even teach you how to track macros.
Yeah.
Like they don't teach calories in versus calories out. They just teach you like how to combat a eating disorder
Yeah,
or
this is what a calorie is.
yeah, this is what a calorie. That's it. So I realized like when you go to school, and this is why people are like, oh, like what certifications do you have? When you go to school, like in college, the upper level 3,000 and 4,000s classes, they're all like the same.
Yeah.
They start teaching the same stuff over and over again. And that's because they've run out of knowledge to teach. They just find a different way to explain it. But like what we learn in science, like with nutrition, it changes like every year. The research changes every year. Like, you know how back in the day it was like, oh, training, you need to train 6 days a week. You need to activate each muscle group twice a week. Like now it's like, no, you can train 3 days a week, train to the muscle groups to failure, and you can properly recover and build muscle like equally as efficiently, you know? So like it changes so much, and school doesn't teach that. And that's what a lot of people get wrong, you know?
Yeah. So I guess the takeaway from that is experience.
Most definitely.
That's
Yeah.
Because you still have that personal training background and experience that allows you to help the people. You still have that, the coaching or the background in that.
And where that experience comes in is like gut health, hormonal health, like all of these little things that can combat and counter like weight loss. Because weight loss isn't just caloric deficit. It's also like, how are your hormones? How is your gut health? Like all these little things. How are you sleeping? It's crazy, dude. Yeah. So many things. But yeah, experience.
It's a lot more than just nutrition for sure.
Most definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so how do you think, okay, so it seems like your business, Authn Fit, Kayla Fit, is all very much social media based.
Yeah.
How do you think social media has like helped, or we know it helped. How has it hurt your business, do you think?
I feel like, especially more than anything recently, with the way things are on social media, there's only so much control you have. It's not like how it used to be. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, oh, the algorithm, but at the end of the day, that is something I cannot control, right? So, for example, if you go to Instagram right now, when's the last time you've actually like scrolled through, or do you just go to someone's stories? Like it's changed. And if you do scroll, you might see 3 posts from one person. How does that make sense? Right. Yeah. So I think that's a way where it's affected, because there's only so much I can do, and so much I can create, before it's like, well, that's it. Right. And so conversion's a little bit different than it used to be. And it's across the board, the amount of conversations I'm having with other influencers or other people in business. And it's interesting kind of the way, in the direction that things are going with that. So as much as it's built up, it's like, okay, well, what else can you control? Because there's so much that is out of your control. And it's like, okay, you have to adjust, you have to adapt, you have to learn, you have to do something different. How can you portray your message in a different way so that it is getting pushed? So it's interesting.
So like social media, I remember I listened to it somewhere. You don't own any of your data.
Yeah.
So the only data you truly own is essentially your email list. But there's other formats that people are kind of going by aside from the email list. So like you're building a community. I think what you're great at doing is community. So you're building a community outside of Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that on your Discord. Talk to us a little bit about that and how you think that's so important for you.
Yeah, Discord allows me to it's just like having an open conversation all the time. Like you think of if I go through all my Instagram DMs, which I do, that's taking a lot of time, and it's one individual discussion versus an open board where I can come in and be like, what's everyone's plans for the week? What's something you're struggling with the week? Or there's different tabs of sharing your outfit, your lift for the week. And
everyone can participate.
Yes. And it's not just me inspiring, it's everyone inspiring everyone, because it shows, hey, we're all human and we're all probably struggling with the same thing, just maybe in a different way. And it makes everything seem more real and not this perfect picture looking thing that social media does. And so that's where it brings more connection, which builds a stronger community at the end of the day.
It's like the new Facebook group for the
Yeah.
fitness.
We had this discussion the other day, and what sets a lot of these brands that have really propelled, what sets them apart is the fact that they've been able to build these communities.
Yeah.
And it's easy to just create a company and then sell it and whatnot, but to really stand apart, you have to create a community and a culture of like something that people believe in and want to be a part of. And I think you're really on the right track for that.
Damn, bro, my sentence is all good. Everyone can create a company, but not anyone can
He's gonna say that in every fucking
create
podcast.
a brand. It's so true, though.
Get a tattooed.
So okay, all right. So going off of creating a brand, and I don't know if you want to talk about this at all. You definitely don't. We don't have to say names or anything.
Before that, though, how has the business mindset affected your personal life, though?
Don't have to go in order.
How,
You could have waited.
It's a script.
okay, you said how is the... Wait, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah. So, like, how do you think, as you grow older, you grow wiser,
Yeah.
right? You go through more trials and
Hopefully.
tribulations. How has your new business mindset and current business mindset affected, like, your personal life, your friendships, like, everything? How's that?
Yeah, I actually just like journaled about this. I said how I have to be careful with who I allow in because I believe in what I'm creating, and we obviously can't really fully discuss it yet, but I believe so much in what I'm doing that it's going to be so big that people are going to want things from me.
I think so, too.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's very scary. I'm very... I don't show everyone it. I don't talk about it. I don't because I have to protect my energy and how much I'm giving to certain people because I have gone so long with giving energy to everyone because I think that I can help better people. And I think that I always see the best version of somebody in themselves and I want to be able to help them feel that. And I do that to people who that they're not willing to put it in to see the best version of them, right? And I'm putting this constant energy into someone who maybe doesn't want to do that. And it's like, I can't be doing that anymore in my life. So it's like narrowing this circle down and being okay with that and understanding that I just can't always give advice and give energy to people that maybe want me to do that or want something from me because it's not benefiting me. And so it's just understanding that I have to keep my circle small and just sometimes I may seem like an asshole, right? But as long as I understand that I have the right intentions, and that's what matters most because I think what I'm building is going to be so big.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about it, but you are...
Before I was so rudely interrupted.
Oops.
So we won't talk about
This answered it, though.
You're building a brand.
Yeah.
We won't talk about it. So you're building a brand. How are you prepared to handle the shift from your coaching business, which is just you solo? You're doing it all on your own.
With Dan.
Okay,
Yeah.
you and Dan. So how are you? And I don't know if Dan's helping you with this new project,
No,
but
it's just fine.
how are you prepared to handle the shift into building a brand and eventually hiring employees and building a team and actually creating a business that hopefully one day will stand on its own?
That's the thing that keeps me up at night because it's so scary because, back to what you were saying earlier, there's these multimillionaires. And if you really look at them, they're just figuring out how to do things day by day. Like no one actually knows what they're doing until they're just thrown in it, right? Thrown in water, figure out how to swim or you drown, right? I think it's the same thing. And I'm always willing to adapt. I'm always willing to ask for help. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to do those things. And so I think that's what's going to help set me apart in those ways. And I can have a conversation with a rock, like literally a just rock sitting there. So I feel like if I can have a conversation with anything and be able to make someone else feel comfortable, that I think I can build that. How? I don't know, right? I have to figure that out. And the good thing is I'm surrounded by great people like you guys and other people in Houston that allows me to flourish in that and be able to ask for help and guidance. And I think that's what's going to also set me apart is I'm willing to ask for help and other people aren't. They're just stubborn and they're like, I want to do it on my own. Well, cool, but good luck. It's going to take you 2 years to do what you could have done in a few months because you're not asking people for help.
So. Yeah, your brand's going to be
Sometimes
dope as
it
fuck.
feels like you have to, from my point of view, sometimes it feels like you have to do everything on your own, right? Like, or you're the only one who can do it. And that's even something that I've struggled with and, opening up and asking for help and figuring it out. And like you said, it's figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's just, you're thrown in and you're just, okay, what do I do next? And that's how I've had to handle everything as well.
Yeah. There's always going to be highs and lows, and like you can't
Yeah.
control that. It's just how do you react and how do you act when you're at that high and when you're at that low.
And
That's
it's
what
just
matters.
at the end of the day, you have to just you bring it back to the surface level of what is the best decision for the business.
Yep.
And you make that decision and you move on. And if it's a terrible decision at the end of the day, then you got to figure it out. Or if it's a
Yep.
great decision, it's a great decision. And I think, that's
Yeah.
how Daniel and I have been doing everything as well. Like, okay, we're going to sit down. All right, let's do this. All right, we did it. Let's move on to the next thing.
Well, maybe we'll have a second part with Kayla when her brand launches.
Yes. I say we do.
I think it's gonna be, man.
Yeah.
This I feel like this brand is gonna be huge. I think it's like a mindset thing too, right? Like Derek and I are very much like. I think that's also why we've grown together too. Is we've always operated under the mindset that we can do everything ourselves, and then we find this wisdom along the way, and then we find these people that can complement our weakness, so we don't have to go searching for it.
Yeah.
It kind of just finds us. That's a huge thing too, because
Yeah.
I mean, we've made a lot of mistakes finding, thinking that this person can achieve this, and then we kind of are let down. And then Derek and I have always like found each other when the dust settled, and that's why like things have worked right so much, and like. That's a huge mindset thing. Being able to like allocate, knowing you need to allocate your duties early on is such a strength.
Yeah.
I think like with your mindset that you develop with the whole like home training thing and the communities you've built, like it's so ever growing that like it's. How old are you right now?
27. I turned 28.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On August 7th.
Like
I wish.
yeah, I mean 27 is. I mean, I'm only 5 years older than that, but like the mindset growth that you have at 27 is probably greater than a lot of people that I know in their late 30s and even 40s.
Yeah.
Like there's people that are that age that are still figuring out what they even want to do in life. And where your mindset is like, I know what I want. That's like, honestly, it's inspiring. And I hope it continues to inspire a lot of people. I think that's why you've been so successful in creating your community. Because you've essentially been a coach for all of these people unconsciously. And that's like very powerful. So
Thank you.
definitely applaud you for that. That's amazing.
Touching on also what Daniel said about the people aspect, treat it the same. And this can kind of go into the fourth leg, which is like retrospect, advice, goals, things like that. You keep your circle tight. In your personal life, you should treat it the same way with your business. Be careful who you're bringing in your business. You want to have the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
If you bring somebody in and they just don't fit your ideas and your goals and your core values, you can't be afraid to like trim the fat, so to speak.
Yeah.
You have to put the right people in the right seats, or it could be somebody like in the wrong seat and just move them to the right place or to the right seat, and that'll elevate your business tenfold. So be very particular about who you're bringing in. And it's hiring is very difficult, right? Because you can interview somebody, they can fucking blow it out of the water. You hire them, the next day it's completely, they made up everything.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult thing to do. And my advice for you is there's a book called Traction. You should read it and apply the practices that it has, and it talks about that. Talks about the people, talks about how to structure your business and really like make the right decisions.
Yeah.
And we're actively doing that. It's hard when you're a startup, but as long as you read it, you just have the ideas in the back of your mind. But
I haven't read the book yet, but I'm the visionary, so I'm like
he
We-
says
we
that,
know
but he
this.
doesn't know it.
I'm visualizing how good the book is, and Derek is actually implementing and reading it.
No, we haven't gotten to some things, but I'm gonna make Dana read this book.
There's another Surrounded by Idiots.
Yeah.
That's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
And it breaks down different types of people and what they're good at and how they act, and understanding that that's that person. So that I think will help me as well, understanding people better and how to communicate with people and how to put people in the best positions. So
most
I'm
definitely.
already like starting to do that because I already kind of struggle sometimes to understand, other people.
Yeah.
So I think that'll kind of open my mind and make things like that easier.
That is the number one, I think, well, maybe not number one, but that is a very, very, that's one of the main key component of being a leader, right? Is knowing how to handle people, learning your people, learning what they're good at, learning how to communicate with them. Because say you're managing 50 people, like all 50 of those people may not learn the same or respond. I said this the other day as well, like think of your business as like coaching, or like how athletics is set up, right? You have your owners, you have your coaches, your assistant coaches, you have the players. Like the business is the same thing. So you have the owners, you have your CEO, you have your managers, and then you have your employees. So it's the same aspect, right? So like not every player, not every employee may respond to certain types of coaching. So it's just learning your people and learning how they respond to certain things, and learning, like I said, putting them in the right place. And you want to set them up for success, because if you set them up for success, you're setting your business up for success.
Oh yeah, I agree in that.
So you talked about right now you're doing AuthentFit, you're building your brand, and you're doing your social media stuff. And you said earlier you don't want it to be forever. You don't want AuthentFit to be forever. So talk to us about some goals that you have. Let's stretch like the 3 and 5 year mark.
Yeah, I feel like with the new brand that's being built, that is my 3-5 year goal. Like that, getting it into stores, getting it to this level that I can see it at, and I know you can see it at as well. And that's honestly one of my biggest focus. Obviously within 5 years, I would like to have a family. I don't like own a house. I don't know. Like my whole life, I've been moving my entire life, so I never actually unpack, because I'm like, all right, well, we're just gonna move again, because I moved so much as a child.
So you've always had a house but not a home.
Yeah, never, like ever in my entire life. So that is something that I'm also chasing. And I think like, some people are driven by certain things, and I'm driven by things like a house and money, because I didn't have that growing up. And I know that doesn't bring me full happiness, but it does drive me. And so if it drives me, then I'm going to just keep going, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
So, I mean, even when I first got my car, my dream car, it was an amazing thing. But, within 48 hours, I was like, all right, well, like, this is it.
What's next?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so that buying my car really taught me that doesn't bring you happiness. Sure, it brings you spurts of it. And sure, it feels good, and it's in a form of accomplishment. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't bring you that overall happiness. And that was a very big learning point that I needed to feel when I got that car. And so, just building a family and actually building a home and having something that is mine, that is successful, that gets me up every morning, that I'm excited to do, and not working for anyone else, but truly myself, and building a family around that.
Yeah.
What advice, if any, would you give anybody that's potentially listening to this podcast?
To be yourself, like not don't worry about anyone else.
Authentic self.
Yeah, like AuthentFit, right? But it's like, just truly don't. No matter what you do, I actually just posted about this morning. It's like, no matter what you do, someone's gonna have an opinion. Someone's gonna have a first thought, judgment, whatever, right? No matter what you do, if it's good, if it's bad. So why focus on it? Like, there's no point in focusing on it, because someone's always gonna have an opinion or a thought. And at the end of the day, what truly matters is your opinion and your thought of yourself. And don't get so lost in an end goal. Get focused on the journey, because the journey is actually the fun part. Like me growing my social media, that was the most fun I've ever had, ever. Like, that was so much fun. And so now, being in this new growth phase again of this growing something, that is what's so much fun about this. So it's like, don't get lost in the end goal, focus on the journey, be yourself. No matter what you do, someone's always going to have an opinion, and they could frick off,
And I think, like, touching on what you said about, you got your car, and then it's like, what next? I think that's like the athlete mentality, right? Like, you achieve your goal, you get to a certain point, and you're like, okay, or it's like, I won this game. Okay, now what? I'm going to focus on the next game.
Yeah.
Okay, I won the gold medal. Now what? Like, on to the next.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's just that drive. That's where that comes from.
Yeah. And that's why the journey is important, because like, you achieve those things. Even when I won summer shredding and I got everything I've literally been chasing for 2 years, I was like, this is it. Like, I was very depressed. I was very in my head. I was very upset, because I achieved all these things and I thought it would just bring me this happiness. But in the reality of it, the journey was the happiest part. So it's like just reminding yourself of that. And it's, again, like the goal is cool, but the journey is what really matters.
Like we have so many goals and everything for Relay and, you know, all the stuff that we're doing. But like right now, we're in it right now, and like that's what I love.
Yes.
Yeah, this is fun.
The building of it, and
Exactly.
that's how it's always been for me.
I mean, you saw the building. We enjoyed
the
renovations aspect of this place because it's fun and seeing people like come here and like believe in us too. It's a huge aspect for us because like you say, you know, when you're showing this place, there's gonna be doubters. There's gonna be people like, oh, it's not gonna happen, and you know. That leads us to our motto for our business, you know, which is...
And the finish line.
Yeah, we have what it takes, you know? And so this question is always very dearing to Derek. So, Derek, you lead it.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, for me, you know, all my life, people have told me I don't have what it takes. And, you know, maybe that's just, you know, the athletic background or whatever, or my come up. But has anyone ever told you that you do not have what it takes?
I've had moments of that.
It doesn't have to be like those specific.
Yeah, but no, it does bring up a specific moment when I was living with my mom at the time, and I was working in the gym, and I wasn't making a ton of money, you know, but what I was making was enough for me to keep building into social media and investing into that. And I remember getting in this big fight with her and her being like, you know, you need to pay rent. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I like looked at her and I was like, I need you to just trust me. Like, just trust what I'm doing. Trust my vision and trust that I'll get to this point where I could buy you a house. I could do those things. And like, that was a hard thing because it felt as if, okay, she doesn't believe in what I'm doing right now. Right. And the second she saw when I started working with these brands, what was coming in, it was like okay, like you're right. Like I see and I trust you and I believe in you now. And it took that moment of me having to stand up for myself and being like, trust what I'm doing, believe in who I am, you know, ride with me or don't, you know, like being into that mentality. And I think that was a very big point where I was like, okay, I stood up for myself and look what I just created. Like I need to continue to do that.
And I think that's the perfect response to that situation and the question of not having what it takes is, you know, prove them wrong.
Yep.
Like just do it.
Yeah.
Do it anyway. Don't listen to what people say. Like follow your path or what you believe in.
Yeah.
And good things will happen.
100%. Absolutely.
Great. Well, Kayla, you know, we've crossed the finish line, marking the end of the episode. Thank you for joining us today, helping our audience grow their knowledge in the world of business and getting to know you on a deeper level. Hopefully, listeners learned something about you that you may not have shared, and you know, or you've helped at least one person from this episode, and that's always our end goal.
Yeah, that's what really matters. But thanks for having me, guys.
Most definitely. It was fun. Thank you for listening. Thank you to the listeners at home for tuning in. Together, we will sprint towards a purpose-driven future, celebrating the power of business, entrepreneurship, and the transformative impact it can create.
Bye.